Welcome, everyone. I am showing it is the top of the hour, so we will go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Macy Lee, and I'm the Manager of Science and Programs for Curves. Today, we've got a great topic to discuss, the good and maybe not so good of carbohydrates. So I first love to know if you believe carbohydrates are bad for you. Go ahead and let me know in the chat, yes or no, if you believe carbohydrates are bad for you. I'm seeing yes, I'm seeing not all of them, some of them. Awesome. We're getting a good start here. Okay. Over the past 40 years, carbohydrates have really gotten a bad rap. Some fad diets even promote avoiding carbohydrates altogether. So my goal for today is to demystify carbohydrates. There are three macronutrients: protein, carbohydrates, and fats, and your body needs each of these to survive and function properly. The key is to consume the right amount and the best quality. Let's first start off by reviewing the definition of sugar and carbohydrate. Those, I'm sorry, these are very closely related terms, but they're often misused. So, what is sugar? Sugar, as defined by Webster's Dictionary, is a sweet, crystallized material that consists wholly or essentially of sucralose. It's colorless or white when pure, tending to be brown when less refined. It's obtained commercially from sugarcane or sugar beet and less extensively from sorghum, maples, and palms. It's even a source of dietary carbohydrate and is a sweetener to preserve other foods. So sugar is a form of carbohydrate. I wanted to bring that up because that's the one that tends to be not the best. To fully understand sugars, though, we must fully understand what a carbohydrate is. A carbohydrate is any various neutral compounds of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, most of which are formed by green plants and which constitute major classes of animal foods. By definition, all carbohydrates are sugars. This includes fruits, vegetables, starches, as well as cakes, cookies, and candies. So I'm going to say that one more time. By definition, all carbohydrates are all carbohydrates are sugars. Carbohydrates, remember, are an essential macronutrient. Your body needs carbohydrates every day to sustain bodily functions. When digested, they're converted to glucose, and with the assistance of a hormone called insulin, which I'm sure we've all heard of before, they are absorbed into our bloodstream. Glucose is what the cells in your bodies use for energy. Carbohydrates fuel our body with energy needed to function efficiently throughout the day, but as I mentioned before, not all carbs are created equal. Some are better for us than others. Whole carbohydrates contain naturally occurring sugars and starches that, when broken down and used into energy. Some carbohydrates provide fiber that keep you feeling fuller longer and aid in digestion. Fiber also stabilizes blood sugar, preventing skyrocketing and crashing like it does when you eat refined sugars such as cakes and cookies, processed grains, white bread, pasta, or rice. A great source of carbohydrates does include the following: a variety of fruits and vegetables, such as lettuces, squashes, broccolis, green beans, peppers, and onions. It's best to eat a variety of vegetables every day. Tubers, such as sweet potatoes, yams, potatoes, and even artichokes. Whole grains, such as whole grain breads, oats, quinoa, brown rice. As for bread, you always want to look for a brand that is 100% whole grain as its first ingredient listed on that ingredients list. The higher it is up on that list, the more of it contains. So you want it to be number one. Whole fruits, such as bananas, apples, blueberries. Legumes, such as beans, lentils, and peas, and even nuts and seeds, including almonds, walnuts, and chia seeds. All of these are rich in fiber, which helps slow digestion, lower insulin spikes, and help move waste products through the digestive tract. One of the main reasons carbohydrates has gotten a bad rap is because our sugar consumption is at a world all-time high. It's estimated that in 2018 to 2019, there were 177.59 million metric tons of sugar consumed around the world. Holy smokes, that's a lot of sugar. This is an 23.5 million metric ton increase in just 10 years. The United States tops sugar consumption charts, with the average American consuming 126.4 grams, or about 4.5 ounces per day. This equals to 101.7 pounds per year. This could equal over 4 tons throughout one's lifetime. The average Australian consumes 95.6 grams per day, which equals about 77 pounds per year. And the Canadians come in a close third at 98.10 grams per day, or just about 72 pounds per year. The National Cancer Institute found that children between the ages of 14 and 18 consume the most sugar at 34.3 teaspoons per day, which equals to about 130 pounds per year. Kind of interesting to think about the week after Halloween, right? With the spike in sugar consumption increasing over the past 50 years, we have also seen a rise in health concerns that are being linked to sugar, such as obesity, diabetes, and specific types of cancers. With all of that said, it's best to limit refined carbohydrates. Refined carbohydrates are processed and they're stripped of that naturally occurring fiber that help them avoid those sugar spikes and crashes. Many studies conclude that refined carbohydrate consumption is directly correlated to health problems such as type 2 diabetes and obesity. Having large portions of pasta and rice is going to cause a huge spike and then a drop in your blood sugar. So it's important to choose healthy whole carbohydrates to sustain your energy levels and avoid refined carbohydrates such as sugary drinks, including soda, juice, and sports drinks, and everyone's favorite specialty coffees. Women that consume far too many calories, and especially in the form of carbs and sugary drinks, we tend to do this more than men. And we quickly consume those bottled sports drinks that contain up to 34 grams of sugar and zero nutrition value. In addition, as I mentioned before, those coffee drinks that we all love have anywhere between 500 to 1,000 calories. So if you find yourself craving a sweet drink, try adding a slice of your favorite fruits to some water, or even try one of the Curves protein shake recipes as a healthy alternative. Again, when we think about our bread choices, we want to avoid things like white bread or even white pasta. Go with something that is whole grain and is listed as whole grain at the top of that ingredients list. And as we approach the holidays, we want to be mindful of the sweets, of the pastries, cakes, and cookies. It's not to say that we can't have any. We just need to be mindful and really watch everything in moderation. The other source that we don't always think of having a high amount of sugar tends to be our salty snacks. Chips and snack crackers are usually also very high in sodium, but are loaded with sugar and therefore are very high in that refined carbohydrate, and they offer very little nutrition value. If you would like more information on healthy carbohydrates or an overall balanced nutrition for good health, ask your Curves coach about the Curves Nutrition and Weight Management Program. And if you don't have a local club, go to curves.com, then click on Programs, Nutrition and Weight Management for more information. Now, I'm going to go ahead and drop one of my favorite healthy carbohydrate and healthy fat recipes into the chat. This peanut butter oatmeal is a great way to get your day started. It's got just enough of that sweetness in it, but it's got some great whole grains and healthy fats. I'd like to thank you all so much for joining me today. And if you have any questions, I'd love for you to type them into the chat or unmute. I'd also love to hear how you will plan to incorporate some healthy whole grain carbohydrates into your diet this week.